Hola a todos, queridos mancos, bienvenidos a este directo de hoy nocturno y con Alevo, sí, hemos empezado hoy, perdón, hemos empezado un poquito antes, pues porque bueno, estamos de ansiosa actualidad, tenemos en 7 minutos y 38 segundos un Nintendo Direct y luego también repasaremos el evento que ha habido esta tarde sobre las 7 de la tarde, si no recuerdo mal. Pues el evento que ha habido de presentación las primeras imágenes del Wolf Among Us 2 de los nuevos Telltale Games. Entonces, pues bueno, pues primero estaremos viendo el Nintendo Direct. ¿Qué pasa, Paco? Vinoja. Bienvenidos. Pues eso. Estoy sin cenar, además. O sea, que si no, no llegaba. Y también, o sea, por eso lo estoy emitiendo solamente por Twitch, porque si no, no llegaba, o sea. Y aún así, me sobran 6 minutos todavía, y pico. ¡Bah! Sobra. Así que, pues eso. ¿Qué esperamos del Nintendo Direct de hoy? Nintendo ha dicho ya que va a presentar solamente em, juegos que van a salir la primera mitad del 2022. Por lo tanto, blanco y en botella, Kirby. O sea, vamos a tener un extenso gameplay de Kirby. Nos van a explicar todas las mecánicas del Kirby. Y luego ya no sé si habrá algo de. Eh, pues eso. De lo que viene a ser Splatoon 3. Bayonetta. Es que lo veo demasiado pronto que salga ahora, al inicio del año. Y más teniendo en cuenta que sale Kirby y tal. Yo Bayonetta lo pondría para verano, porque tampoco lo puedes poner para final de año, porque sale el God of War y sale el Starfield. Entonces ahí habría un pelín de sándwich. Entonces, pues eso. Que yo sinceramente lo pondría de cara a verano, que hay un poco de sequía. Porque febrero, marzo, la madre que lo parió. Aunque bueno, mi marzo va a ser vuestro febrero. Porque eso, o sea, Kirby y Ghostwire Tokyo son el mismo día. Y luego, la semana siguiente, ¿qué salía? Hostia, se me ha olvidado. Joder, se me ha olvidado la pinta. Lo que has cenado tú, bueno, pues ya has cenado más que yo, porque yo no he cenado nada. Acabo de venir de currar, iba a decir de empalmada, pero no. A ver, voy a poner los cascos, que tengo aquí todo. Vale. Así, que no haya luego problemas. Que tengo mucho cariño en mi Razer Cracker. Tú no has cenado. Pues bueno, luego cenamos. No sé si luego voy a ir al peluquería. Me encantaría poder cenar luego y luego ya hablaremos. Aquí en directo, no, no, no. Que te ha pasado una cosa flipante. Nani, nani. ¿Qué ha pasado? Estaba pensando, ¿qué coño salía en marzo? Vengo del gym y hay una que lleva escribiéndome del gym todo el rato. Mandándote audios. Y la pregunta es, ¿por qué esa pava del gym tiene tu teléfono? Es que vas... parece mi puta alma gemela. Vaya, hombre. Pues... ¿Qué te voy a decir, Paco? Ataca. Ah, tenéis un grupo de WhatsApp. Vale, 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 vale. Pues nada, tú dale duro. Y ya está. Bueno, quedan 2 minutos y 40 segundos ahora mismo. Y bajando. Es Sonir recalcitrante. Toca el piano y canta que me han mandado un audio cantando y me he puesto tontorrón. Buah. Buah. Pues nada, ya tienes con quién hacer duetos, chaval. Bueno, vamos a ir poniendo esto. Sí, 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 vamos. Vale, todavía no suena nada. Pero es que está en la uni todavía. ¿Eso es asaltacunas? ¿Qué año de uni? No sabes. Es que, a ver, no es lo mismo estar en primero, que tiene 19 años, a que esté en la final de... Último de medicina. Pues igual puede rondar a ella fácilmente los 23, 24. Si luego le falta el MIR y toda la mierda, pues fácil. Bueno, gente, empezamos. Pues sí, pues échale, más o menos. Yo te digo, que te quite lo baila. Esto está puesto, sí, vale. Yo todavía no digo nada. ¡Ay, que me lo vas a mandar! Vale, vale. Vale. 1.
Peggy 18.
Debido al COVID, las fechas de lanzamiento y cualquier otra información mostrada en el vídeo pueden sufrir cambios. Para mantenerlos al día, consultad... Madre mía, esto está petado. Pegué 18, eso huele a bayoneta, ¿eh? Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes. ¡Uy, qué buena! Está muy alto. Yo todo petado esto.
I seek to destroy the irrational power structure that shackles Fodlan.
If the kingdom is ever to part ways with
No,
the
vale.
past, this is the path we must walk.
I have ambitions, Edelgard. Real ones.
Perfecto, es que yo los cascos los tenía a tope.
Will you sit around and wait for a miracle?
Cómo molan los Warriors. Lo que pasa es que me da miedo traerlos al canal. Porque al fin y al cabo acaban siendo aburridos.
We shall fight.
Pero me encantan.
We shall survive, and we shall win a glorious future for Fodlan.
And now that I know, I won't make the same mistake again.
Revenge is not a thing you take for someone else. You seek revenge to slake your rage and heal your wounded heart. I know you are prepared to do whatever that you must.
24 de junio del 22. Yo para entonces ya tendré mis 37.
皆さん、
Hola,
こんにちは。
hola, ¿qué tal?
任天堂ダイレクトの案内役を務めます。高橋
Muy
です。
bien.
最初にご覧いただいたのは、ファイアーエンブレム無双風化雪月です。原作のファイアーエンブレム風化雪月と時代背景はそのままに、全く異なる物語の展開にぜひご期待ください。続いて
Vale.
はヘッドラインをご覧ください。
The Orange Star Nation needs you. We've got more intel on Advance Wars 1+2 Reboot Camp. In the first campaign, Advance Wars, you'll advise a colorful cast of commanding officers and use their abilities in vibrant turn-based
¿Este cuándo salía?
Each commanding officer is now voiced, bringing even more charm to these characters.
Porque...
I see right through your plans.
Another full campaign awaits in Advance Wars 2 Black Hole Rising. More commanding officers and more diverse terrain can be leveraged for additional tactical opportunities, like blasting through pipelines to cross into enemy territory. In both campaigns, you can fast-forward gameplay and rewind your turns for a smoother tactical experience. Flex your strategic muscles outside of both campaigns with additional modes. Go for high scores in the War Room. Create and share custom maps in the Design Room. Or
Anda,
battle
coño.
friends and frenemies in local and online multiplayer. Advance Wars 1+2 Reboot Camp marches onto Nintendo Switch April 8th.
8 de abril, vale.
Pre-orders are available now on Nintendo eShop. Explore an infinite universe.
El Outer Worlds.
In No Man's Sky,
En No Man's Sky, joder.
every star is the light of a distant sun. Each orbited by planets teeming with life. Travel to planets of
No sé por qué confundo el Outer Worlds con el No Man's Sky.
procedurally generated universe. Here, you'll discover extraordinary lands and creatures that have never been seen before and may never be seen again. To survive, you must craft your own tools and even your own place to live. In this living and breathing universe, trade convoys travel between stars. Factions vie for territory.
Sí, que ahora mola, ahora mola.
Pirates hunt unwary travelers.
Si no, mira cómo salió.
The authorities are ever watchful. Your journey may be fraught with danger, and actions have consequences. Traitor, fighter, explorer. How will you live in this universe?
Se parecía a un caminante de...
Lands on Nintendo Switch this summer.
Bien. El Mario... ¡Soccer! ¡Hostia! Desde GameCube. No salía un Mario Soccer. Bueno, un Mario Fútbol aquí. ¡Qué heavy! Cualquier parecido con Oliver y Benji es pura coincidencia, ¿eh?
Mario Strikers Battle League Football. Prepare for Strike. A 5-on-5 sport like football that's way heavy on offense. Aim for goals.
Vende 6 veces más que FIFA, ¿sí?
to teammates, as well as by using tackles, items, and crushing special shots. The main rule in this sport is to rule the field. Try to score more goals than your opponents.
Aquí en este...
There are two things to keep in mind
en este
that will
fútbol
help you
vale
with your
todo.
strategies. First, the gear you equip. It changes not only your appearance, but also your stats like speed, strength, and pass accuracy. Customize as you see fit. Second, the Hyper Strike. To activate this shot, grab an
Hipertrayazo.
orb when it appears on the field, and charge it while your opponents are distracted. Hit the net, and you'll score not one, but 2 goals. Up to 8 players. 4 players on each team can compete against each other on one Nintendo Switch console.
Joder.
In addition to
Se requiere conexión a internet durante el juego en línea, bla 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 bla.
Online club mode. Join an in-game club and compete for placement in the rankings. Up to 20 players can join a club. So create your own and invite friends and family to play alongside you. Or join an existing one owned by other players. Try to become the world's top club. With items, tackles, and hyper strikes. Anything goes on this field. Mario Strikers
10 de junio.
Launches on Nintendo Switch June 10th. Pre-orders begin on Nintendo eShop shortly after this presentation.
Flipando me hallo.
の最新作が登場します。何でもありの格闘サッカーにぜひご期待ください。続いてはこちらをご覧ください。
Vale. A ver. Splatoon 3. Os lo dije. Sí, esto va a pintar todo el mismo color, sí. Esto es una puta locura, ¿eh? Paco, me estás diciendo que el Splatoon te parece divertido. ¿Quién eres y qué has hecho con Paco Crank? Salmón Run. Eso no es un salmón.
ご覧いただいたのはスプラトゥーン3の協力モードサーモンランネクストウェーブの映像です。ラストにはこれまでに報告されていない巨大鮭の姿も確認できましたが、イカたちの運命やいかに。スプラトゥーン3はこの夏発売です。今後の続報をお待ちください。引き続きヘッドラインをご覧ください。
A ver.
Fonzers at the ready.
¿Qué es esto?
A full remake of the first Front Mission game is storming onto Nintendo Switch. In this tactical RPG, you'll pilot weaponized machines called Vanzers and lead your battalion to victory.
Mola el remake este.
Gain the upper hand in battle by aiming for enemy parts to destroy. Mix and match various weapons and parts to customize your Vanzer. Uncover the great storyline of this classic when Front Mission 1 Remake launches on Nintendo Switch this summer. And in the future, the sequel, Front Mission 2 Remake, will also launch on Nintendo Switch.
Bien.
Get set for a high-octane Disney and Pixar combat racer.
What?
From the creators of the Asphalt series comes rip-roaring racing action across Disney and Pixar-inspired racetracks. Race as
Porque
a
todos
legendary
los juegos
roster
tienen
of
mejores
characters
gráficos que el
on
Pokémon.
high-speed circuits, using each one's
Hombre,
special abilities
¿qué quieres que te
to
diga,
power
eh?
victory across the finish line. Choose
Hostia.
Mickey Mouse for symphonic speed.
Hostia.
Monstrous power.
¿Quién había dicho un Mario Kart 9?
Explosive maneuvers.
No es lo mismo, pero casi. ¿Eh?
Possesses powerful ultimate skills, perfect for turning the tables at the last second. Disney Speedstorm is a free-to-play game with new seasons added regularly, bringing more exciting Disney and Pixar characters, circuits, karts, and more. Plus, enjoy cross-platform play as well as split-screen and online
Parece un DLC de
multiplayer.
Mario Kart, sí.
Disney Speedstorm races onto Nintendo Switch this summer.
Madre mía.
Dive into these classic franchises on Nintendo Switch.
A ver, franquicias
Unleash the power of
clásicas.
the Force in this classic Star Wars action adventure. As Darth Vader's secret apprentice, you'll use devastating Force powers and lightsaber combos as you hunt down Jedi Masters on iconic planets. Upgrade abilities like Force Grip and Force Repulse, then combine them for even more destructive
Sarah Pantay my fucking money. Quiero esto ya.
controls, or opt for motion controls enhanced from the original Wii.
Quiero esta mierda ya.
You can also duel locally
Son
to
juegazos.
determine who is the galaxy's most powerful Jedi. Star Wars: The Force Unleashed launches on Nintendo
20 de abril, o sea.
Pre-orders begin
20
on
de
Nintendo
abril
eShop
del
shortly after
90.
this presentation.
Sois
The
unos
complete
hijos
saga
de
of
puta.
legendary assassin Ezio Auditore da Firenze awaits in 3 critically acclaimed Assassin's Creed games. Explore Renaissance Italy and 16th century Constantinople. Interact with historical figures.
No, no está basado en el
Secrets of
episodio
the
1.
Creed across 3 games, 2 bonus short films, and DLC.
Sí aparece Qui-Gon,
Take advantage of
pero no
advanced
está
features
basado.
for Nintendo Switch on the go, including touchscreen controls, HD Rumble, and optimized on-screen display.
Esto, el hecho collection para vosotros jugadores.
Launches on Nintendo Switch February 17th. Pilot mobile suits in dynamic action RPG
Ese de
battles.
Gundam Battle Alliance.
Strange incidents called breaks are occurring across the Gundam universe. Find out what's causing them and restore the proper timeline. You'll lead 3 mobile suits in battle. Enhance each suit with parts to improve their power. You can also battle alongside friends in online co-op multiplayer. SD Gundam Battle Alliance launches on Nintendo Switch this year.
Intermables, eh.
2 worlds cross in the triumphant return of this RPG classic.
A ver, a ver, a ver, a ver, a
A
ver.
remaster of the acclaimed RPG Chrono Cross is coming to Nintendo.
¡Hola!
One fateful day,
sacado de
the
chorra,
protagonist
chaval!
Serge wanders into
¡Qué
an
sacado
alternate
de
world.
chorra!
Though it somewhat resembles his home world, he finds that he no longer exists here. How did this happen? What is this mysterious another world?
Buah, decía Darko a ver si le sorprendía. Toma.
Both worlds to
Toma.
unravel the story.
Y está Angel ahora mismo
Over 40
así.
characters can join your party. Depending on
Buah,
the choices
chaval.
you make, the allies who accompany you and the endings that trigger will differ. A number of improvements have
fuerte,
been made to
chaval.
this remaster, like the ability to turn off enemy encounters and a newly enhanced soundtrack. Plus, Radical Dreamers, originally released on the Satellaview, is included.
¡Qué bueno!
Experience the origins of Chrono Cross in this text-based adventure. Chrono Cross, the Radical Dreamers
7
edition.
de abril, pero se salió ya.
Slashes its way onto Nintendo Switch April 7th.
Buah.
Pre-orders begin on Nintendo eShop shortly after this
Buah,
presentation.
yo sé también de otro, Switch, que ya la está representando. Ahí está, el pequeñajo. Qué fuerte, qué sacado de chorra, tío. Qué cosicas. Kirby, come. Yo quiero tapar mi coche así también, ¿eh?
It's Kirby's latest unforgettable 3D platforming adventure, Kirby and the Forgotten Land. It
Qué
all
bonito.
takes place in a mysterious world with an unusual mix of nature and civilization. To rescue the kidnapped Waddle Dees, Kirby sets off on a new adventure. Introducing Mouthful Mode.
Transmorfosis, es un puto coche.
A vending machine to attack with juice cans.
Sí, 60. Pero está en Amazon por 46.
Become a piercing cone.
¡Ay, qué guapo! ¡Qué mecánicas más
With
chulas,
Mouthful
¿no?
Mode, new actions will be available for Kirby depending on the object he inhales. Enjoy exploring with new moves different from copy.
El anillo mágico ese parecía otra cosa, ¿eh?
Kirby can even weaponize a mouthful of water, like this. As Kirby rescues Waddle Dees, Waddle Dee Town will continue to grow, and more resources will become available.
Ah, el Chrono Cross. Ah, sí, claro.
At Waddle Dee's weapon shop, familiar copy abilities can be evolved.
De hecho, luego cuando termine la presentación, te lo miro en la Switch. Que la tengo ahí detrás.
Copy abilities to expand Kirby's range of attacks. They'll also change Kirby's appearance and make him even more powerful. Some copy abilities may have stronger evolved forms. A new adventure awaits our pink puffball. Who are the Beast Pack? What are these enemies trying to do? Can Kirby restore peace to this world? Kirby and the Forgotten Land launches on Nintendo Switch March 25th. Pre-orders are available now on Nintendo eShop.
ご覧いただきました星のカービィディスカバリーはいよいよ来月の発売です。
Sí, pero no puedo,
もう
no
少しだ
puedo.
けお待ちください。引き続きヘッドラインをご覧ください。
A ver, a ver, a ver, venga, otro como el Chrono Cross y el poder de la fuerza.
任天堂ディレクトをご覧の皆さん、こんにちは。バッターの大谷翔平です。ピッチャーの大谷翔平です。任天堂スイッチ上で今回初めて MLB ザショー22が楽しめるようになりました。それではこちらをご覧ください。
That's right, Otani-san.
Vale.
The show is coming to Nintendo Switch. That means you can play modes like Road to the Show and Diamond Dynasty on your Nintendo Switch. But that's not all. You can even play Exhibition with a single Joy-Con controller. With cross progression, you can also earn and use content on any platform where MLB The Show 22 is available. And take
Esto lo
your
peta en
progress
Japón,
on
sí,
the
sí,
go
sí, sí,
with
sí,
you on Nintendo Switch. Have friends that play
Un
MLB
juego de
The Show
béisbol en la
22
Switch
online
lo
matches
peta.
on other consoles? No need to worry.
Correcto, les
You can
encanta.
invite them and play online.
El 5 de abril. Joder.
I knew you were a true two-way player, but this is ridiculous. Sheesh.
You're gonna have your hands full of games with these collections. 3 Kingdom Hearts collections are
Ahí
almost
está, versión
From Kingdom
Cloud.
Hearts to Kingdom Hearts 3
Joder.
and the Remind DLC. Every entry is
90
coming
pavos.
to Nintendo Switch as cloud versions that can be
Joder.
played while connected to the internet.
Sí, sí,
Real
así de
Life will
fluido,
get to
¿no?
know these heart-filled adventures alongside Sora, Donald, Goofy, and more for the first time in TV, tabletop, or handheld mode. Kingdom Hearts Intergram Masterpiece for Cloud, containing all 3 game collections, soars onto Nintendo Switch shortly after this presentation. Each collection's cloud version will also be individually available on Nintendo eShop.
¡Hostia, el
is coming to
Clonoa!
Nintendo Switch. Across dreamy side-scrolling levels.
¿Pero qué está pasando en este Nintendo Direct?
And hover while firing wind bullets to grab and throw enemies. Use each level's surroundings to your advantage.
El Al de la caverna del gamer estará flipando, ¿eh?
Two is included. Take on these great
Los dos,
adventures
además,
when,
¿eh?
Klonoa Fantasy Reverie Series launches on Nintendo Switch July
8 de julio. Joder.
8th. We're so glad you're here. Been here before?
Portal.
Either way, you're in for a puzzling treat.
Joder.
In these award-winning games, the portal gun is your key to surviving imprisonment in a mysterious lab. Create portals and warp to other areas to find... cake? Still unconfirmed. You can pass through portals, and so can cubes, lasers, and robots with unnerving levels of personality. The sequel adds in local, online, and split-screen multiplayer modes, and that part's no lie. Neither is the sentient robot monitoring your every move when Portal Companion Collection warps on
En 2022, esto no tiene fecha. Esto no tiene fecha. Me encanta.
A classic comes alive.
¿Ya qué más vais a sacar? Live Alive.
Previously unreleased outside of Japan, the RPG Live Alive makes its overseas debut, now in HD 2D. Multiple stories featuring different protagonists and time periods await. The order in which you tackle them is up to you. Prehistory. A tribesman comes of age in a world without words. The Wild West. A wanderer with a bounty on his head fights for his life. Imperial China. A kung fu master searches for a worthy successor. Twilight of Edo, Japan. A shinobi undertakes an important secret mission. Present day. A martial artist strives to become the strongest there ever was. The near future. A youth with psychic powers takes a stand against evil. The distant future. A newly built robot is swept up in a tragedy in space. What other stories are on the horizon?
Joder, qué movida de juego, ¿no?
Live Alive launches on Nintendo Switch July
2 de
22nd.
julio. Bien.
Pre-orders begin on Nintendo eShop shortly after this presentation.
いかがでしたか？
Joder, ¿que os lo habéis sacado?
こちらです。世代を超えてどなたでもお楽しみいただける Wii スポーツシリーズの新作 Nintendo Switch スポーツが登場します。こちらをご覧ください。
Por favor, Nintendo Switch Sports. ¿Qué morro tienen?
Nintendo Switch Sports.
¿Qué morro tienen?
You might recognize these three from past Wii Sports games. Tennis. Rally by gently swinging the Joy-Con controller at the right time.
Y ahora me dirás que cuando salga la siguiente remesa de Switch, te va a venir con esto, ¿no?
And Chambara. Knock your opponent off the platform while attacking and defending. Plus, 3 additional sports are joining the lineup. Football. Use a gigantic ball to make dynamic plays.
Vale.
Enjoy matches with Joy-Con controllers to shoot and perform diving headers. By attaching a Joy-Con controller to the leg strap accessory included with the physical version of the game, you can play shootout mode with intuitive kicking motions. Badminton.
Oh.
Control your shots left and right while keeping the shuttlecock in the air. Unleash powerful smash shots to gain the upper hand. Finally, volleyball.
Ooh.
Use a Joy-Con controller to serve, bump, set, and spike the ball.
Qué guapo. Te puedes hacer un haiku ahí en toda regla.
The game supports local play with family and friends on one Nintendo Switch console, as well as online play across all sports. Play against friends online, or opt for random matchmaking.
Un Nintendo Labo
The more
nuevo.
you win, the tougher the players you'll face.
Pero de PVC, ¿no? En vez de cartón.
Try taking on this challenge.
いかがでしたか？せっかくなので新種目バレーボールのプレーを実際にお見せしようと思うんですが、
高橋さん。あ、
El que faltaba.
皆さんこんにちは。任天堂の小泉です。
小泉さん、気合入ってますね。それでは小泉さんとバレーボールをオンラインでプレイしてみます。ストラップの準備は大丈夫ですか？
はい、もちろんです。スペースの確保もバッチリです。
Necesitas tener un pedazo de salón que
では
flipas.
始めましょう。わかりやすくご覧いただくために実況を別途つけてお送りします。
Alright, oh, we're doing this? Volleyball, a newly added sport in Nintendo Switch Sports. What can we expect today from the Takahashi Koizumi team? It's Koizumi to serve, with Takahashi up front.
Madre mía.
We begin with Koizumi serving. How will the opposing team react? Takahashi makes the block. Another one's coming. Koizumi saves it. Set up in the air, and here comes the spike. The other team saves it and fights back. And they score. Takahashi didn't quite get it in time.
¡Paquetes!
Alright, well, it's okay. It's okay. The game's not over. Now the other team serves. Koizumi receives it. Takahashi sets
Tiene un
it
poco
up.
de lag, ¿no?
And Koizumi spikes, but it goes right toward the opponent. Here's another attack. Now's their chance. They get the ball, and with the setup from Koizumi, Takahashi scores. They got a point with that fierce spike.
プレイはこの辺り
Ya
にして
está,
おき
un
ましょう。
punto.
まだ紹介の途中でしたね。
En Nintendo solamente trabajan hombres viejos, sí. Hostia.
さて、ご紹介してまいりました任天堂スイッチスポーツですが、発売日は4月29日。
29 de abril.
そして夏頃には発売時のシュート対決に加え、ビッグバンドを使ってサッカーの試合が楽しめる無料アップデートを計画しています。さらに、
Vale.
この秋には新たにゴルフをお楽しみいただける
En otoño que se añadirá el golf. El Mario Golf se ha quedado
ここ
corto
で
ya.
皆さんにお願いがあります。快適なオンラインプレイを楽しんでいただくために、発売前にオンラインのテストプレイを実施し、さまざまな技術検証を行いたいと考えていますので、
Oh.
ぜひご協力をお願いいたします。任天堂スイッチオン
El
ライン
19 y el 20 de febrero. Habrá que jugar 3 bolos, chambara y tenis. Solo está disponible para reglamento aleatorio. No puedes jugar con amigos. Se requiere suscripción a Switch Online. A la venta por separado.
何卒よろしくお願いいたします。任天堂スイッチスポーツの情報は以上となります。ぜひご期待ください。続いてはヘッドラインをご覧ください。
Venga, dale.
Get those
Taiko no
Tatsujin!
Dios.
The latest Taiko no Tatsujin game is coming to Nintendo Switch. Set in Omiko City, the sacred town for taiko drums, you'll strive to become a taiko master, along with brand new character Kumo.
El último ya tenía un mogollón de
Drum
temazos.
to dozens of boppin' beats, including Megalovania, Gurenge, Feel Special, and Racing into the Night. And that's not all. An orchestral version of the main theme from The Legend of Zelda is included. That's 76 songs total. Plus, take advantage
Mola.
of a practice mode to replay sections of songs as many times as you'd like. New modes have also been added for everyone to enjoy. Put on a live concert with up to 4 players in Donchan Band. Or face off against each other in Great Drum Toy War. Drum to your heart's content. Win Taiko no Tatsujin Rhythm Festival
Este
launches
año.
on Nintendo Switch this year. Plus, a paid in-game subscription service that gives you access to over 500 songs will be available at launch.
Pagas 500 canciones.
What's new with these Nintendo Switch games? The brand new tactical RPG
Mira.
Triangle Strategy is
Triangle Strategy. El 4 de marzo.
The protagonist, Sarah Noah, and his allies will be engulfed in the conflict among 3 nations. Your choices and conviction will determine their fate.
As Lord of House Wolford, I solemnly swear an oath by which all future lords shall be bound. I will never turn my back on the promise of a better world.
A new demo playable to the end of Chapter 3 will be available on Nintendo eShop shortly after this presentation.
Anda,
Save data
una
from the
demo.
can be transferred
Que
to
luego
the
puedes...
full game once
Mola.
purchased.
Mola.
More Cuphead action awaits in the paid DLC Cuphead: The Delicious Last Course.
Mola.
Here, you'll explore a brand new
Va a salir el DLC también de Cuphead.
bevy of new bosses with wild personalities and even wilder attacks. The clever Miss Chalice is a new playable character. Take down fearsome foes with her double jumps, rolling dodges, and more. Cuphead: The Delicious Last Course wallops its way onto Nintendo Switch June 30th. A free update is coming to Metroid Dread.
Actualización gratuita.
Even from this. Getting hit even once causes a game over.
Sí, estaba muy vivo.
Dread mode difficulty. Can you face this new challenge?
Modo aterrador.
And for players new to the Metroid series, take advantage of increased recovery with the newly added Rookie mode difficulty.
Anda, un modo principiante.
This free update launches shortly after this presentation.
La demo también se actualizará, pues mira, la probé ayer.
Boss Rush mode, in which you'll battle bosses continuously, one at a time.
Pues mira, no lo voy a borrar.
Something's bound for Nintendo Switch.
A ver, online. Sí, para mí también, el principiante, ¿eh? Que jugué, llegué hasta Lemmy y me mató. Y lo quité. Earthbound, vale. Este es el Mother, ¿no? No, Earthbound. Pero como no tengo... Explora los comienzos.
Earthbound and Earthbound Beginnings will be added to Nintendo Switch Online shortly after this presentation.
Minoja, a ver si tienes posibilidad de entrar a un servidor, porque menudas movidas está viendo con el Lost Ark. Tengo a mi chaval que fuma en pipa, de la mala hostia que lleva. Zombie Army 4. No, pero es que mi chaval ha pagado y no puede entrar a jugar, que es lo peor. Anda, el Kimetsu no Yaiba, qué buena. Sí, de hecho, hoy ha tardado mi chaval 2 horas en entrar a jugar, ya ha podido entrar a jugar. Pero su amigo, que ha pagado el paquete más tocho, no puede entrar a jugar. Y encima, además, todo eso que has pagado se vincula a un servidor. Si quieres jugar en otro, estás jodido. Ya sé. Remasterizar pistas del Mario Kart. ¡Hola! Remasterizar pantallas y luego tienes que pagar por ellas. Hostia, que roba mano armada, tío. Que roba mano armada.
Paid DLC courses will be coming to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. This is the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Booster Course Pass. You may recognize some courses from past Mario Kart games.
No, no está bien. No está nada bien.
Over 6 waves. That's 48 additional courses we plan on releasing by the end of 2023.
Claro, qué morro. Aunque sean de otros Mario Kart, me la pela, pero no, me parece una estafa esto.
And Tokyo Blur will be included in the first wave. Of course,
Del tour.
you can play these courses locally and online. The first wave of the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Booster Course Pass will launch March 18th. Pre-orders begin on Nintendo eShop shortly after this presentation.
25 pavos cada uno.
No additional cost with a Nintendo Switch Online Plus expansion pack membership, or purchase the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Booster Course Pass on its own.
Anda que listos, anda que listos. Si tienes el Nintendo Switch Online, lo tienes gratis. Joder. Joder.
次の映像が最後になります。ご覧ください。
Joder. Así, ¿eh? Enormes los huevazos de Nintendo. Enormes.
And living to fight. That's the way of our world. Ionios.
Ay, joder, ¿cómo se llamaba el...?
What would possess you to side with them?
We're fighting because there are enemies to kill.
Valkyria Chronicles, no. ¿Cómo era el juego este?
I knew it. I saw this coming.
You're not enemies now.
Fine for you, isn't it? All that.
Xenoblade Chronicles.
You could try
Perdón,
to
no
move
Valkyria
forward
Chronicles.
again.
How can our lives be so snapping little to you?
They're not your friends anymore. They're his few.
Sword march. The land pierced by a great sword.
Hombre, el sitio es bonito, pero no me va.
Gonna defeat the real enemy.
Si esto parece un Monster Hunter con tanto bicho que hay por ahí.
I won't let you soldier it all alone.
What good filling up these flickering clocks in our eyes? It will never replace the friends we've lost.
The flame clock, it has to go.
Ouroboros abhor this world. They must be erased without a trace.
Xeno waifus. Y Xeno husbandos, ¿eh? Mira, Paco, así es como tú y tu chavala vais a ligar, tocándoos la flauta mutuamente. 4, ¿no? Pues ya no sé por cuánto, por cuál iban. 3, vale. Se han comprado además de Miranda. Septiembre de 2022. Joder.
Xenoblade 1 と2。2つの世界の未来をつなぐ。
Espero que ya no tenga flauta.
Xenoblade 3は
Igual tiene travesera.
予定していますので、ぜひご期待ください。今回の任天堂ダイレクトは以上になります。ご視聴ありがとうございました。
Vale. Entonces, Bayonetta sale para final de año. No me parece bien, pero... Joder tú, ¿eh? Joder tú, qué sacada de chorra de Nintendo. Sinceramente. En las mallas del gym no se le ve. Lo único malo es lo de pagarte por los DLCs del Mario Kart, ¿eh? Lo demás... mola un puñado. ¿Qué os ha parecido el Nintendo Direct? Ha estado muy bien, ¿eh? Yo la verdad es que no tenía ningún tipo de expectativas y... ¡Wow! ¡Wow! Yo sí esperaba Kirby, obviamente. Esperaba Splatoon. Pero hostia, lo que se han sacado por ahí. ¡Buah! ¡Buah! Ha sido increíble. Ha sido increíble. O sea, a mí ya solamente con el poder de la fuerza... Es como, dame esa mierda ya. Dame esa mierda ya. Lo que no me ha quedado claro es si... ¿Solo sale el primero o salen los dos? Yo por lo menos las imágenes solamente he visto del primero. Pero que me da lo mismo, es que no lo juego desde PSP, o sea que... Ese sí que me lo voy a comprar. Está el del sótano empalmadísimo sacando toda su furia. Normal, normal. Si no es muy difícil empalmarle a ese. No sé, si su novio no sé si le empalmará, pero Nintendo, muy fácil. Hostia, y luego también lo de... Lo de Metroid también ha estado bien. Mañana quema la PS... Oh, no, que no las queme, que me las dé a mí. Claro. Que yo se las acojo muy gustosamente en mi casa. Qué manía de andar quemando consolas. Luego, ay, es que no puedo jugar al Horizon porque quemo la consola. Ah, te jodes. No, 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 que también quiero el Xbox, ¿eh? No, 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 no. Yo quiero mi Xbox también. Que yo la mía de aquí, la One X, yo la tengo de reproductor de Blu-ray. ¿El vídeo de PS4 FAT? No, si se está currando, tío. No he visto nada. No, no, no he visto nada del... ¿Ha salido gameplay del... de PS4 FAT del Horizon? Hostia. Pues... Mira, espera un segundo. Mira mi Twitter... Vale, espera. Vamos a buscar a Paco Crank. De hecho... Qué guapa estás, Paco. Qué guapa estás. Qué pelazo. Pepe Lukovic, sí. Estás buenísima, sí, sí. Se pone en PlayStation 4, no te dice. A ver. Que tengo que hacer ahora un poco de encaje de bolillos. Vale, vale. A ver. A ver, también de todas formas la calidad de Twitter deja mucho que desear, ¿eh? Va, se ve muy pixelado. No es la mejor calidad, sinceramente. Déjame... A ver si está en el YouTube de Guerrilla. Sí, es este. Gracias, Minoja. Me encanta tu rapidez. Sí, sí, sé que dura 17 segundos, pero por lo menos lo vamos a ver a 1080 y no está tan pixelado porque se veía muy mal. No. Ay, eso. Es que ya se nota la diferencia, ¿eh? Joder. Joder. Y yo tengo una de esas, ¿eh? Una FAT. O sea, si se ve la mitad... O sea, es que... Joder. Acojonante. Y siempre he querido hacer un solomillo Wellington. Ah. ¿Qué? ¿Perdón? La... La PlayStation 4 es la serie de Sony. Ay, qué. Ah, vale, esto, joder. Sí, bueno, me sale tantas cosas. Que no es que yo tampoco vea vídeos de recetas, pero bueno. Pero hostia tú, ¿eh? No me habéis pillado nada. Lo siento mucho. No, yo el pescado solo lo vendo, yo no lo como. O sea, que han subido el trailer aparte del Wolf Among Us. Sí, a ver, Minoja. El Horizon Forbidden West es la segunda parte del Horizon Zero Dawn, ¿vale? Que por cierto es un juego que tienes ya en PC, el Horizon Zero Dawn. Pero es un juego que va a ser intergeneracional. Y en PlayStation 5 se ve impresionante. Claro que como sale en Play 4, pues mucha gente piensa que ese tipo de cosas va a lastrar la versión de Play 5, etc, etc y chorradas varias. ¿Cuál es el problema? Que no es así. Ya has visto eso. O sea, pusieron un gameplay de una PlayStation 4 Pro. Evidentemente sería bien. O sea, no hay mucha diferencia. Pero ya en una PlayStation 4 Fat. Pues hostia. Es que en la PlayStation 4 está a nivel de The Last of Us 2 como mínimo. Pues fíjate. Mira que The Last of Us parte 2 se ve de puta madre. Creo que se ve un poquito mejor que The Last of Us 2, ¿eh? Un poquito mejor. Pero claro, o sea, una PlayStation 4 no tiene ni una cuarta parte de la potencia que tiene una PlayStation 5. Y que se vaya a ver así es acojonante. Claro, claro, eso es lo bueno. Eso es lo bueno. Me molaría que subieran un gameplay un poquito más extenso, pero yo pensaba que lo que iban a quitar era esas cosas. Pues no te quitan nada. Me habrán metido más niebla volumétrica. Es un capullo. Bueno, vamos a ver ahora lo de Wolf Among Us 2 de Telltale Series. A ver qué es lo que nos cuenta. Y aparte ahora, teniendo en cuenta que sale, ya podré aprovechar y jugar al primero, que lo tengo comprado en PlayStation 4 digital. Porque físico no hay Dios quien lo encuentre para Play 4. Así que es el momento de ir empezando cositas. Vale, vamos allá.
The wolf has been lurking. Ever since
Sí,
Biggie surprised
es
everyone
Jeff
at the Game
Keighley.
Awards in 2019, Telltale has been keeping quiet about the development of The Wolf Among Us 2. Well, I'm happy to say that ends today, right now. We're about to see more, learn more, and sink our fangs into what's next for Telltale. I'm Jeff Keighley, and before we get to everything else, and we've got a lot of information to share today, this is what you've been waiting for. The first official trailer for The Wolf Among Us 2.
Dale, dale.
You're listed here as a private investigator. What does that sort of work entail?
Depends on the night. Most nights it's watching, waiting for a slip up.
Me mola que siguen manteniendo la estética
Someone gets brave.
cel shading.
And that's what you were doing the night of the incident.
Yeah. Took me weeks to track them down. They hadn't cast so much as a shadow. Till that night.
Por eso, Doritos ha dicho que los Call of Duty van a seguir saliendo en PlayStation 5. Sí, sí. Es que yo no sé de qué cojones teníais miedo. O bueno, tenían miedo.
Confidentiality associated with the job.
Something like that.
Your boss, Miss White, said things didn't go as planned. She mentioned that there was some violence.
Pues sí, me interesa. ¿Palawan o 360?
when you find yourself losing control.
Pues sí.
How does the anger manifest itself?
Qué buena pinta tiene. Bien, para
That was
todas.
a lot to unpack happening in this new trailer. There's a whole bunch of new fables we're seeing. Bigby's in, looks like anger management in a new setting, and this is all done in a whole new engine, Unreal Engine. I have so many questions here, as I'm sure you guys do, but I should probably back
Un
up
nuevo
for a
motor
second.
gráfico y se
9
nota una
years ago,
barbaridad,
Telltale brought the Fables comics to life with the very first episode of The Wolf Among Us in October of 2013, nearly a decade ago. It captured gamers' imaginations that fairy tale fables are in fact real
Yeah.
and living in New York City. Over 9 months, Bigby's story played out, winning the hearts of gamers with Telltale's signature narrative style in an amazing comic noir presentation. Then, unfortunately, came the bad news. While a sequel was announced, the
Me han dicho
original
que sale
Telltale
en
shut
octubre
down.
del 2023.
A little over a year later, at the Game Awards in December of 2019, it was official. Telltale was reborn, and with it, production of a brand new season of The Wolf Among Us 2 was about to start. After that brief teaser at the show, Telltale went to work on The Wolf Among Us 2, keeping relatively silent until now. To talk more about why and
Que es
what's
como hay que hacer los juegos. Chitón y trabajar.
CEO Jamie Ottley and Nick Herman from Ad Hoc to answer some of the big questions that everyone's been asking.
De repente, pues ayer te dicen,
Talk about it to tell us more about the
tal día va a
why
salir
and
una
what's
presentación sobre este juego.
background.
Perfecto,
We've got
ya
Telltale
está.
CEO Jamie Ottley and Nick Herman from Ad Hoc, who are co-developing the game with Telltale. You guys were a lot of the folks that worked on the original Season 1 of The Wolf Among Us, and now for Season 2, everyone has so many questions based on this trailer. But before we get into the content, Jamie, let's talk about where are we right now?
We're actually in the game right now. So this is a virtual set. This is Godmothers, which is a quintessential New York dive bar.
But now redone in beautiful Unreal Engine. One of the things that we're
O
also
sea, en Unreal Engine, chaval.
faithful it is to the
Qué
original
bruto.
Season 1, but
Qué bruto.
graphics, but still an amazing story, which is why we're all here for Telltale. We love the story and the characters. So Nick, tell us a bit about the story. Like, what can you tell us about Season 2?
Well, you know, as we saw in the trailer, Bigby's in anger management. He's kind of dealing with a lot of those issues still. And, you know, Season 2 is you know, still a prequel to the comics, but it takes place about 6 months after Season 1 and kind of the dead of winter. And, you know, people have seen his new look. He's got that coat to keep him warm.
Now, you mentioned 6 months between the end of Season 1 and the start of Season 2. Can you at least tell us a little bit of what these characters have been up to in the intervening 6 months?
Yeah, I mean, Bigby, as you saw, is now kind of in anger management, but kind of more importantly, he's been suspended from his role as sheriff and it's like protector of Fabletown.
Yeah.
And Snow White, you know, at the end of Season 1,
Está al 50-50. A mí sí me gusta.
role as deputy mayor because, you know, the sort of old administration is out, they were corrupt, and you kind of rooted that out. And she's got to fill those shoes now. She's kind of got some big ideas on how that's going to happen, but it clashes with Bigby's.
Habría molado haber hecho, se me ha pasado. Haber hecho una encuesta predictoria a ver si va a molar el Nintendo Directo, ¿no? Ja, se me olvidan esas cosas que tengo ahí para usar en Twitch.
And that leads him to meet this detective who is working on this case that kind of blurs the lines between the Fable and Mundy world.
Well, of course, everyone wants to know which characters, which fables are going to be represented in this game. You know, we knew he would be back, but beyond that, what can you tell us about like which characters are returning? You talked about Snow, obviously. Like there's certain characters that we would expect to be there, but can you confirm anyone that is going to be there, is not going to be there? Can you deny? Can you say who's not in the game?
We could probably talk a little bit about who else is going to be there.
Okay.
Obviously, as you said, Bigby and Snow will be back, reprising their roles. And then there's some fan favorites like Buffkin that'll be there, and then there's some new characters that we're introducing that you see in the trailer. Do you have any favorites from season?
I was going to say there's some tease of maybe some Oz-related things,
right?
There are some Oz characters in the game. They're a big addition.
So if they're in the trailer, does that mean they might be in the game?
I think we can probably confirm that.
It's probably
Lock
confirmed.
'em
We
in.
probably just showed you that.
But that's part of what I think everyone's loved about this series is so many of the the classic fables represented. And for you guys looking at this, I mean that's part of the fun of this, right? Is picking where the story is going to go. And what I love is that you're not just telling the comics again. So you have a lot of creative storytelling freedom to sort of come up with this, and that must be part of the fun of this series, right? Is you can kind of pull from anything, right?
Yeah, and one of the best parts about fables is how they sort of subvert your expectations of what these characters are actually like and what they would be like now, versus the old sort of fables from over in Europe. And now it's modernized and they've changed. They're maybe they were that person, but now they're not. You can look at Bigby; he's a classic example. But yeah, and the other sort of big character that we're introducing is a detective, Fei Liang. She's a NYC, New York City police detective who's basically in the middle of a case that doesn't quite look right. And once Bigby gets his eyes on it, it's like clear, like something's leaking out.
Mola mucho el diseño del personaje este.
So, like Oz characters, we talked about that. They're going to be in there. I don't know how much you can say. Like, are we looking just at like episode 1 here in this trailer, or is this kind of across the season, or like what can you tell us?
The trailer's pretty focused on episode 1 to set up where we're going in this season.
Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, if they're in the beginning.
Molaría que harían un remake del 1 utilizando el motor gráfico del Unreal Engine. Sería la polla, pero no creo.
Not use them.
Never know what happens in episode 1, right? But it's like everything can change. But no, that's part of the thing I think is people know that you're doing it episodically, and everyone I think is also curious about what the cadence of this is going to be and how you guys are developing it. Your Telltale is known.
Venga, mi hinoja, gracias por pasarte. Besazo.
Talk about like this is the new Telltale, and you're using a new engine, which everyone's really excited about with Unreal. So is that probably the biggest shift is like moving to new technology finally?
That's a big part of it. We've developed a lot of tools to enable content creation, kind of an iteration quickly around Unreal Engine.
Yeah.
So it really lets us focus on what's unique to Telltale games, or in the case of Wolf, we needed a specific renderer to get the lighting and the look correct in Unreal. And then Unreal takes a lot of heavy lifting off of our shoulders, right? It just works. So we can focus on what we need to do to make the game work.
From a gameplay perspective, though, can you talk a little bit about like the Telltale style? It's still the same gameplay style in terms of dialogue and choices and things like that. Like, with Unreal, does it allow more kind of gameplay for lack of a better term?
It definitely gives us more options, but I mean, people should, I think there's a delicate balance we're gonna have to walk of like, taking advantage of all this sort of new opportunity and space, but also,
not a third-person action game.
Yeah, we got to keep it sort of rooted in its foundation and like what people love about the first one. But there are definitely some additions. There's gonna be some.
Por lo que ha dicho, la jugabilidad ha mejorado. O sea, es un poco lo mismo de antes, pero han añadido cosas.
Intentional, or if it was something that was just the way we had to make it, prior games.
Well, and the thing that we all want is great stories and great voices, and we're really excited that 2 of the actors from the original series are back again as Bigby and Snow, and we're going to hear from them right now. As promised, we've got Bigby himself, Adam Harrington, and Snow White, voiced by Aaron Yvette, with us today. Adam, Aaron, first of all, welcome back to The Wolf Among Us. We waited a decade for this. How does it feel for you guys to be sort of re-entering this world?
Joder, la mesa está iluminada como el culo, ¿eh?
To be honest, even though it has been nearly a decade, it doesn't feel like re-entering for me. And I imagine Aaron might feel the same. We became so close with these characters and spent so much time with them, not to mention all the other work we've done with Telltale, that it becomes more like family. The characters, the folks at Telltale we're working with. So it really is, it's like coming home. But that being
La cara de Jeff es para que Juan haga un meme, ¿eh? Ay, por favor. Es buenísimo. Es como, tío, me estás aburriendo.
Yes, very high expectations.
Ay, madre mía.
Yeah, I mean, like Adam said, it's like seeing your best friend after 9 years. You might have an awkward hug at the beginning, but you fall right back into that rhythm. I mean, it's in our hearts. And yeah, I'm a player and a fan of the series too, so I'm right with the fans. I am very excited for season 2 that I think we all deserve.
And your characters, I'm sure you were curious about where the writers were going to take them in season 2. We know that this is 6 months sort of after the end of season 1, so I don't know what you can say of what you've recorded or what you know, but can you give us a little bit on sort of, where the characters are at?
Well,
¿Has visto las reacciones y qué? ¿Se la ha puesto muy dura?
Yeah, the boss lady here, it turns out, has put our favorite sheriff on kind of a timeout. So, the players will
¿Ha levitado mucho la mesa?
expect to explore more about Bigby than maybe they were able to in the first season. And really let him sort of branch
Me gustaría ver las de Angelo también, que llevaba pidiendo un Chrono Cross remake o remaster tiempo. Y además que te han metido el Chrono Cross de Stella View, o sea, tela.
Snow is just finding her footing at the business office, and
Y
together
encima es que
they
sale
uncover
ya.
all this corruption, which Snow is driven to do something about, but doesn't quite know how. So in season 2, we see she's now deputy mayor. She's stepped up. She has power now, and I don't think she doesn't want to blow it. So she doesn't want to be seen as playing favorites, and that might add some tension to their relationship.
God forbid.
Well, I love that you guys are back right at it as you were in the season 1, and then all these new characters, and we saw hints of.
Está buenecilla, ¿eh? Es guapa, sí.
Do you have any sense of?
Esa es la que pone la voz al personaje que nos han enseñado. A la policía esa.
All of us have waited a couple of years since that first tease in 2019. Do you have any sense of where this is going?
I mean, when we saw the teaser, we just knew, okay, so Snow,
Work is coming back.
This is actually
Snow
happening.
needs Bigby, and there's maybe some conflict between Bigby's natural tendencies, how far he has to go to get things done versus what Snow thinks is allowed, and that maybe they're both going to have to test their limits here.
Yeah, definitely, especially Bigby apparently, because he definitely gets a slap.
Maybe he's
on
already
the paw.
tested the limits a little too far.
Es lo más gordo todavía. Pero lo que no se ve es que tiene una pedazo de coleta que flipas. Que además la tiene ahí enganchada como si fuera un puto vikingo con varias gomas.
Thank God.
I know, but that's a great thing for fans today. It's like we saw the trailer, the game looks amazing.
Yeah.
You guys are in the studio now working on it, and 2023 we're gonna get 5 new episodes.
Can't wait.
Amazing. All right. Well, thanks, guys, and we look forward to hearing you next year in The Wolf Among Us Season 2.
Yeah.
It will be worth the wait.
Yeah.
Mondays.
I can't wait for people to play it.
Siempre, pues te has perdido a Gengis con pelo largo entonces. Que lo tenía así, en plan, hasta el culo.
I'm back here with Jamie and Nick. Guys, let's talk about the announcement of this. We did it together back at the Game Awards in 2019, which was a big moment, and it looked great. But I know at the time, you guys had really put that together. There wasn't a game at all, right? That was
Sí, lo tienes muy rizado, sí.
almost a teaser asset made specifically for the show, right?
It was. We were very much in pre-production, and we were trying to stay on the.
Ah, lo tiene corto, sí.
But we also wanted to let our fans know that we were back and that Wolf was coming. So we put that together specifically for the show as a teaser.
No, I know that's why people were like, "Oh, can't wait to see the game." It's like I think that's all that exists there. But coming out of that, so what has happened in the past 2 years? I think fans, have nervously been hoping to, see more on it. And I know we've been talking over the years, and it's taken you guys a couple of
Por lo menos
years.
tengo pelo,
At this point, what has that journey been like?
Oye, y el pelo así, tienes el tupé ese que te queda muy guay, tío.
But most of the time, the creative team's been in pre-production on Wolf Among Us 2.
Que vas tú más veces a la peluquería que yo.
Set up for success here, and I can't really overstate how important that was for this. I think sort of Telltale Games Pass and Wolf 1 were kind of laying the train track as the train's going, and now we're able to kind of look at the whole season and really be do it justice and make sure that we're happy with what we have before we hit.
So you have the whole 5 episodes.
Oh, yeah.
How many
It's all-
episodes? Do we know how many episodes we get?
We get 5 episodes.
5 episodes.
Okay, I don't-
All right, cool. So you sort of you've thought through the arc of the 5.
Yeah,
and
how
you
it
kinda know that,
honestly how it should be done. So, I mean, but we have.
El tupé es el remolino que tengo desde que nací, entonces como yo.
And we saw.
Que con el paso del tiempo se me ha ido haciendo el tupé ese para arriba y luego hacia un lado. Y cuando me aliso me queda fatal.
Well, we're in production. We're acting.
Pero también lo tengo súper rizado, lo que pasa que con el paso de los años he ido ahí. Uy, qué hostia le he dado a la consola. he ido quitándome los rizos, pero tenía en plan tirabuzón de muelle desde pequeñita. Que de hecho mucha gente pensaba que mi madre me ponía rulos de pequeña.
Piecing that all together and figuring out the cadence. And has there been a lot of like iteration or rewriting, or what's the process been like?
Yeah,
Una
a
al mes.
little bit, but really it's like because we've had
Yo
this
suelo ir
for so long, we've been able to
2 veces al año, a no ser que haya algún evento importante, pues voy también. Pero si no, voy 2 veces al año.
have everything, you know, in visual form. Although that's obviously going to be another stage of this, but you know, we're happy with what we have, and we're now just at the point where we just got to make it, you know, put it on the screen.
Aunque seguramente con lo que me he pelado esta vez, voy a tener que ir antes.
Back in the day was like you could take feedback from people on one episode and inform the next one, right, or the story or whatever. You're still planning to do this as episodes, but like more compressed, like all together, right?
Yeah, we'll release episodically, but we'll be done with all the episodes before we release the first one. So there'll be a regular cadence. We're really after.
¿Lo van a sacar por capítulos? ¿En serio?
Where they can discuss what happened last
Qué
week, or
cagada.
the week prior, and anticipate what's coming in the next episode.
Interesting. This is interesting when you say like you're gonna effectively have them all finish and then release them.
Que parece el pelo. O sea que si te lo dejarías largo lo tendrías a lo afro, ¿no? Entiendo.
Sort of like streaming shows that they'll come out.
I think so. Yeah. I don't know if we have it exactly nailed down just yet, but you know, I think iteration was always key at Telltale to make these things work. So we're just taking that iteration and bringing it, you know, internal instead of sort of blasting it out to everyone. We kind of sort of take that process and just put it in a space where we can, make sure the quality is reliable and we still get the feedback from our fans.
I love that though, as a true season, as you said, like Water Cooler.
Pepe Villuela, si Pepe Villuela no tiene pelo.
Play all this together as a community and enjoy it. One other thing we should talk about is last year at the Game Awards, we announced another Telltale project that you're working on, Expanse. And you know, I'm sure some fans are like, is that going to impact the development of Wolf Among Us? Can you maybe outline sort of like that's a different team, right? That's working on that, but Telltale is still at the core of it. How are you managing the development of those two things?
So we really, when we wanted to restart Telltale, creative empowerment was central to what we wanted to have as a pillar for the company. And so Nick and the team at Ad Hoc are leading the creative efforts on Wolf Among Us 2, but we've partnered with Deck 9. We're all fans of the Life is Strange series. And so they're doing the Expanse game. So it's a separate team. It's really allowing a new creative voice to tell a Telltale story.
Yeah, well, it's great that you have both
Mola.
many other things kind of percolating.
Mola, han cogido para el otro proyecto que están haciendo, han cogido a la gente de Life is Strange.
Carrying that torch forward for so many years and now in this new world with
Este es el camino. No sacarlos por capítulos, pero cogerte peña que sabe y hace más o menos tus mismos juegos que tú, con un motor gráfico nuevo y tal, pues...
Season 2, we cannot wait to play.
¡Hola! ¡Qué pedazo de corte!
Final stretches of development here. Anything else to add before we wrap this up?
Yeah, two things really. One, we really wanted to say thank you to our fans and the community, and for the support that we've enjoyed in getting this far along. We can't wait to share Wolf Among Us Season 2 with you. And then we have a piece of key art that we're going to drop that shows Bigby maybe split between the two worlds that he has to live in. And you'll be able to find that on our social channels shortly after this.
All right. Well, we've got key art, we've got a trailer, we've got a date. Things are moving in the right direction for Wolf Among Us 2. And thank you guys. I know how hard it is still to make games work from home and with the pandemic and everything. So the fact that you guys have pulled this together, I know we're all just waiting with great anticipation for 2023 to play them. So thanks, guys. Awesome stuff. All right. Well, while we've been talking about the long-awaited sequel to The Wolf Among Us, the Fables comics it's based upon is also making a return. In case you missed it, Fables 151 continues the series this May, 20 years after the first issue hit stands. So
Otro direct en el Sing Song, correcto.
Thanks so much for joining us today to learn more about The Wolf Among Us 2.
Porque es para el año que viene.
More to be done before the game is ready to launch in 2023.
Lo gordo de este año es Bayonetta, no es Silksong.
Once again, here's the first official trailer built entirely in-game, giving us our first takes of The Wolf Among Us Season 2.
Bueno.
You're listed here as a private investigator. What does that sort of work entail?
¿Me lo vas a poner otra vez?
Depends on the night. Most nights it's watching gets
Sí, es lo mismo. O sea, me pones el trailer del principio y del final. 2023. Bueno, pues ya estaría esto. Yo me voy retirando poco a poco. Voy a ver si puedo hacer... Ah, mira. Mira, está Yermense y está Darko. Los dos están ahí haciendo... Lo bueno es que JD está haciendo... Day and Light. Pero bueno, como vas a ir allí, no te voy a hacer una raid para que vayas a Twitch, me parece absurdo. Pero bueno, si más solamente estamos tú y yo. Pero bueno. Pues nada, voy a ir a cenar. Si me da tiempo cuando termine de cenar, igual entro un poquito al peluquería a comentar que quiero el poder de la fuerza ya. O sea, por favor. Sí, pues eres libre de irte. Porque voy a ir terminando ya. Quería hacer una raid, pero sin nadie no merece la pena. Así que, pues nada, como siempre, gracias a los que habéis estado por aquí por el chat, a los que le estáis viendo en diferido en YouTube, que hoy no he podido hacerlo en dual, no me daba tiempo, si quería empezar a la hora, si no tendría que haber empezado más tarde. Un besazo a todos y nos vemos mañana con más Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Adiós.